G'day everyone, welcome back to the Live channel. Working on the engine bay and the rx7, clean off all the seam sealer so I can stitch weld it, and burning out all the stuff right in the corners and stuff with the torch so that it doesn't melt and spew out into the weld when you're trying to weld it and stuff. So I've done most of it all the way around the towers, and I want to stitch across the joins in the plate around the outside all the way up to the front, so it's sort of strong where the cage is stitched to the A-pillar all the way down through the front through the tower, because I've got the firewall bars that go up to a pad pretty much at the bottom corner of the tower there, so it's sort of, I don't know, forms a triangle, maybe, something. But anyway, just want to give it a bit more strength. I'm not going to fully stitch weld everything because I don't want the whole car to pretzel if I have a big smash, but I don't want the towers to flex under the weight of the RB, so I wanted to have it a bit stronger so that, it doesn't turn into a bit of soft marshmallow from the weight of the engine bouncing all the time and stuff. Yes, that's what I'm doing today, and then I'll, after I stitch that, weld 3mm plate on here, and then gimbal, losing control. Weld the tube strut bar up to the back of the firewall. I'll cut it into there, so it's only half the tube shown across the back there, and then back out and down onto the tower. I also want to cut out the back of the tubs, the front tubs in the corner down here, where the wheel was hitting down that corner, that full lock. So I've got to sort of bring this up and give some more room on the inside there, on this corner up in here. Anyway, that's what we're doing. Do some time lapsing and stuff because it's kind of boring, but something. It's killing time in the garage and lockdown. Hello beautiful people, another day. So I've stitch welded all the towers and everything together, so, and I also mini tubbed the back of the front wheel wells. So this was actually convexed out the other direction down in the corner here, and I've concaved it up into the engine bay and then welded it all back together. Had to do a fair bit of filling down there, so it was pretty ugly, but it was a bit painful, but it is what it is. Needed the clearance, and we've got the clearance now, so pretty happy with that. Can't see. Torch. Where's my light thing? Lost it. Anyway, not interesting. So yeah, welded the tubs. These towers are like 4 layers. It's pretty ridiculous. There's like 1, 2, and then the third layer, and they're all stitched together on the inside. So it's pretty strong already. It's probably a bit excessive. Anyway, it's done now. It's gonna add to the strength and stuff because the RB is a bit heavy. So I want to make a strut tube now, something like that, welded in up across the back. I'm going to recess half the tube into this wall here, so it'll actually be inside it halfway. And back down onto the other side. So it's going to cut a bit of plate, weld it on the back of the tower here, go up, cut that out the whole way along, trench that through there, and then I'll weld the tube in, top and the bottom, come down, land on the other side of the tower. So it just goes up, across, down. So do that now. Some time lapsing. And then after that, I think the engine bay is pretty much ready to be sanded and painted. I could probably fill some of these holes. Obviously these need to be filled since I don't have a throttle cable anymore going over there. That's where the pedal was. And there's a whole bunch of little bracket holes that could probably be just welded up. But apart from that, I also had to notch where the steering column, this bolt that goes through the uni joint on the steering shaft. I had to notch that for clearance around the back because the bolt was actually just clipping the chassis rail, which would have been very irritating. Hearing this little tick, 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 tick sound every time I change directions. So I did that, and yeah, welded all the way around outside there. Alright, that's time like this. Do stuff. Alrighty, so chop the choppy in there, and basically you can see I got the tube. Can't see shit because we got a light in the way. No, can't see shit. How's that? Better? So I've recessed the tube halfway into the firewall, and then over, project the line onto the back of the strut. So I cut a little plate, and it's going to land up here, basically. Chop. Weld a bit of 3mm plate onto the back here, curve it around the back. Make it about 90mm. So about 90mm, spread the load. And then, yeah. Got a bit carried away, and we do have a little gappage, but it's not horrible. Straight section in there. Nothing we can't massage close from the top, and weld it up, fill it with molten metal, my favourite. It's worked out pretty well because there's obviously this pressed in section on the top of the drain. That's the rain drain. The water comes down your windscreen, ends up in your drain, and it flows down through there and out the sides. So I've got to make sure I clean all that out, all the aluminium shavings out of there. Otherwise it'll sit in there and rust. Aluminium, steel, hello. He's had 2 beers already. I have. And we're going to get another one any minute now, right before we start welding. We're a bit far from welding yet. Still got to cut some more bits of metal. Nothing like using power tools and having some beer. So yeah, there's actually a brace welded in here for the window wiper. So that's the window wiper there. The mechanism goes up through the back across to the other point there. So that's why I couldn't just run a tube, make an X out of my tube and go through to the roll cage, the front uprights, because I actually have the window wipers in there, which I'm not deleting because I'm not retarded. I live in Melbourne and it rains here all the freaking time. It's raining now. So not having window wipers is not really a thing. So yeah, and this linkage links to that one, so I couldn't even just run that one and have one wiper and delete this one and have an X through here through to the cage. That wouldn't work either. I already thought about that. So this is the best I can do. Basically weld this to this section, which is pretty solid. Like, it's solid enough. It's more solid than a strut brace you would buy from Cusco. This is chromoly tube, which I'm going to use here. We'll have to join it here because I've only got 2 of these tubey leg things, which were made. I was going to tube the front of the car, but I'm not going to do that until I smash it. So might as well weld it in here for now for a strut brace. That way the whole front of the car is pretty solid. 38mm chromoly tube between the towers and stitch weld all the towers. Yeah, pretty solid. And then the whole rest of the car's got a full cage in it, 6-point diagonals, double 44 side intrusions. I welded a 38mm chromoly strut bar in the back between the towers. So it's all pretty solid after I do this. Anyway, cut some foot plates, weld on to the back of here, weld them on there now. Then I can start to work on the length between the bend and the actual landing point and notch the end of the tube, which I've marked here, or the other side, to actually get that landing on there nice. And you don't tack it in here or anything until I actually get that length and that notch on the back of that tube, because that's actually, that tower actually sits on a bit of an angle back this way. So I want to get that nice. Don't want to have any gaps there, really. Yeah, do stuff, cut stuff, weld stuff. Beer first. Alright, so scissors, cardboard, and we go to our tower and we cut a bit of cardboard to suit the shape that we want to make the foot pad for the tube to land on. 3mm plate steel. Whoa, gimbal's lost its mind. Reset gimbal. You're okay, buddy, you're okay. Oh, we're back. Look at that, gimbal's had too many beers. Anyway, so yeah, cut a bit of cardboard. That's the easiest and quickest way to do it. Get the shape, you know, because obviously it's a bit of a triangle or something going on over here. Triangle-y, edgy, cutty, squarey thing. So we cut that out of cardboard, then transfer that onto the 3mm plate steel and chop it with a grinder. Then weld that onto the tower. And it's a couple of reasons you do that. Obviously it gives you an extra strength. So if there is any load transferred, it spreads the load onto the tower. And also because it means that you get to do the shitty welding onto the thin metal of the tower along the edge of the 3mm plate steel. And then when you weld your tube, you can actually really get into it, do a nice clean weld around the tube onto the plate, which will be a lot nicer because it's thicker metal, the plate that you're going to weld on there. So you can really put some heat into it and do a proper weld rather than trying to like not blow holes through the sheet metal of the chassis of the car and it looking like you were just babying it the whole way and it looks like crap. Which is kind of like what happens along here. It's just like, don't blow holes, and there's like seam sealer and shit trying to come out while you're going, and it ends up looking junk. So you weld the foot plate on out around the edge. No one looks at the edge of the foot plate. Everyone's looking at the weld around the tube itself. So it sort of distracts people. And, but yeah, gives you strength, and you have a nice, beautiful weld around the end of your tube onto the plate. I'm not going to be able to do that up here. Just going to have to bear with it and just fill it. But yeah, let's cut some plates. Alright, so I skipped a bit of the chopping and stuff because it's kind of boring for you to watch, but basically this is all good, it's all fitted up, and I've notched the ends of my tube. This is the strut bar here, which I have welded together, obviously, because it was two pieces, which was originally going to be tower tubes for the front to the front of the chaise rail, but thought I'd use it because it's what is this? It's 38 mil, 38. I think it's 38.116. 38.16 chromoly. 38.16 chromoly. 1.6 mil wall thickness. So. Gotta tack that up again. There. Tack and weld. It's landing kind of high up on the plates I welded on. Right up near the top of the tower, which is kind of where I wanted it. Probably didn't need to make the plates that big, but oh well. Carried away there. But what else? Then I had to fill a bit over there because I made the hole too big where I notched out the firewall. But there you go. So that's about it for the engine bay. I have to weld this in. It's plenty of strength for the engine in the front, I reckon. Probably a bit overkill, really. I had to double check that my brake booster fitted down in there. When I had to tack in one bar to check that I could get the booster in and out. And I had to put a ring spanner onto the breather line, the vacuum line, and just bend it over slightly out of the way. But that's that. And then yeah, I've just where I've notched the firewall here up in the rain gutter, I've undercoated that in there, and I'll put some paint on it before I weld it in so that it doesn't rust, because it was the surface I couldn't get to before. So it's pretty convenient that I cut this hole here. That was on the bottom too, so obviously the water sits there. The rain's not really going to run uphill and get to the back of this, even though I did spray a bit of undercoat on the back of the seam. I won't be able to get to the welds. I might be able to put the can in there and spray, squirt at it roughly. But what else? A race car probably be crashed before that thing rusts out. Yeah, right. Time lapse. Weld this thing in. Paint the thing and then weld it in. So there you go. Another long thought about piece of the puzzle. Been talking about it every time I look at the engine bay, I guess. But there we go. One strut tube. Chromoly. You tell chromoly because it has that ring to it. Has a ting when you flick it or bang it with a tool. Whereas the Race Tech steel, the roll cage stuff, doesn't ting as much. But put that here, welded it in the whole way along. Didn't make too many holes actually. The top was a bit of a gap filling process. I mean the bottom, sorry. The top was easy, I just pushed it down until it touched. The bottom, yeah, a bit gappy. Oh, is that a hole? Maybe a couple of touch-ups, but welded it all the way around on the towers. Let's weld up the back all the way across. Solid as. No flexing. We'll be able to ram all the Nissans with this, and we will wreck them like a Greek warship, baby. Yeah. Pretty happy. Now I guess it's the pretty much up to the shitty part of sanding the engine bay, filling all the holes. I'll get some Sikaflex or seam sealer or something to fill holes. Actually, I've got to still fill those two holes there. The old throttle cable hole and other random hole. Don't know what that is, but it needs to be filled. And then that's that. I can start take off the steering shaft, take off the wiper motor, clutch master, get rid of my fuel filter off the rail. I'll just tape up the subframe and then sand it, paint it. Don't know what colour yet, still thinking about that, keep changing my mind. Alrighty, that's enough for this video. It's been pretty long, I guess, and not that interesting, but I was kind of excited because that was like the last major thing that was going to take a lot of effort to do in the engine bay. So that's ticked off, just little things now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification thing. Yeah, see you on the next one. Bye.